Hey there guys, I'm Kyle. Paul's behind the camera, we're the Quad Bros, and today we're going to be telling you about 3 different micro quadcopters. This is a comparing view. Okay guys, as I'm sure you already know, microcopters have become an awesome part of the multi-rotor hobby. They're fun, cheap, and portable. We're going to be comparing 3 of the most popular models out currently today. The WL Toys V272, the Cheerson CX-10, and the Estes Proto X. We're going to be talking about 5 main things on each of these multirotors. Their durability, their speed, their flight time, whether they can flip or not, and of course their price. So stay tuned. First up is durability, something very important to look for in all your quadcopters. So first, the Estes Proto X. This is the first micro quad I got and one of my favorites. It's extremely durable and it's taken tons of hits. I have had issues on multiple occasions where a solder comes undone on the motor and I've had to resolder it. I think that's because I do push all these micro quadcopters to the limits, pulling them at the fastest speeds they can go and doing lots of quick maneuvers. Next up is the V272. I only got to fly this quad a few times before I crashed it, not too hard, and it broke. In fact, it wasn't something I could simply fix like a solder. The frame itself, which is the board, which is everything, broke, so it's completely done. So not very durable, which immediately gets rid of my main recommendation for it. And my favorite, as you'll be able to see throughout this entire video, is the Cheerson CX-10. It's extremely durable, it's taken tons of hits, it's just an awesome quad. So that's going to be my recommendation, and I can't tell you how many times I've crashed it and it still flies just like it did out of the box. Okay, next up, and also very important, is flight time. And with this, we're going to talk about charge time. This means how long you can have the quad in the air, so how much fun you can have, really. Once again, the V272 didn't live up to my expectations. Its charge time was upwards of 30 minutes, and then its flight time was only about 4 minutes, which is well below what's advertised. Next up is the Estes Proto X, which also has a higher charge time of around 30 minutes, but you were able to get 6 and sometimes 7 minutes if you were flying it not too fast. And lastly, the Cheerson CX-10, which had a charge time of 20 minutes usually, as well as flight times of upwards of 6 minutes for doing quick, high maneuverability flights. So once again, it wins. Okay, next up is speed, which is very important and something a lot of people look for when they're looking at any quadcopter, and especially micros. So it allows you to zip around wherever you're going, and with the small size of the quad, you can really take these things anywhere. So the speed is always fun to be able to zip around a large area, which these things can do very well. So first, the V272. It offers 4 different speed settings, from 40%, 60, 80 to 100%. So what this allows you to do is really get a good hold on the quad when you're learning, and then keep going and keep going. And it basically changes the quad from something that's a great learner where you can take things slow and it makes it a lot harder to crash because you can't even go that fast, all the way up to 100% where you're able to zip around and where crashes are very common and brutal usually. So next is the Estes Proto X. You have 2 different speed settings on this one, low and high rates. And low, it's going to be like 40% on the V272, where you're able to take things slow and learn the quad, where then you're eventually able to move up to the higher speed rates and really do some fun flying around your house once you get the hang of it. Lastly is the Cheerson CX-10, which has 3 speed rates. Once again, my favorite, with the low being very slow, great learning curve, and then eventually being able to go to the high rates where you're able to go extremely fast and have some fun. Okay, next up is Flipability, which is your quad's ability to flip or not at the hit of a button. First up is the V272, where you are able to flip it by hitting this button and then choosing the direction which you want to flip with this stick. This was a cool feature, but what I learned was the flips were not very good and they ended up resulting in a lot of crashes because it does take a lot of altitude in order to flip. But it was a feature offered and it did work okay. Next up was the Estes Proto X. I'm not sure, if you do get the Hubsan X4 controller and connect it to the Estes Proto X, you are able to do flips, but with the stock transmitter, you aren't able to. So it is something to look into to upgrade your controller for it because I'm sure it does great flips, but on the stock transmitter, you are not able to do flips. Next up is the Cheerson CX-10. Once again, my favorite on this one with amazing flips, which is really what made me fall in love with this quad. All you have to do is press down on this stick and then pick the direction you want to go in and you do a flip. You're able to do many at the same time and it handles it amazingly. You only need a few feet in order to do a flip and it just performs perfectly on the flips. Okay, last up is price, which obviously is going to influence a lot of people's decisions a lot. So first up is the V272. It goes for about $28 to $30 on Amazon. Then the Estes Proto X, which is sold by Amazon themselves. It goes from anywhere from $30 to $50. So if you do see it around $50 or $45, wait a while and the price will usually go lower eventually. And then last up is the Cheerson CX-10, which really made me fall in love with this quad in addition to its amazing ability to flip. The price is only $22 on Amazon. And then if you go to another hobby shop site, some retail for as low as $17 or $18. So in my opinion, it's the best quad as well as the cheapest. Okay guys, last up I wanted to leave you with a summary of all three quads, going over everything. So first up is the WL Toys V272. I did like the idea of this quad because of the transmitter, which is big, versus all the other micro quads I've seen also come with a micro transmitter, which I didn't love. So I decided to try this out. I got it in the mail, I really liked it, I enjoyed flying it, but on the third flight it crashed. And when I look for a micro quad, or any quad really, I look for something that's gonna last a long time and be durable, and this was just not that. So next up we have the Estes Proto X. It's the first quad I got, or micro quad I got, and I really enjoyed it and still enjoy it today. We've had some issues with wires coming undone that we've had to resolder, but for the most part it's also very durable and it's had a ton of crashes. So good, but not the best. Lastly, of course, is the Cheerson CX-10, which is the lowest price, highest flight time, lowest charge time, best flips, and 3 speed settings with a good transmitter. It really offers everything I look for in a micro quadcopter. So in the end, that's definitely gonna be my recommendation. So we're gonna have links to all 3 of these in the description below. If you have any questions about how either of these performed or anything else in the multi-rotor hobby, comment below. Also hit that like button if you enjoyed this video, and make sure to subscribe to see more of our weekly videos. Thanks for watching, and we're gonna leave you with this.